Hey, what's up? It's Glenn. I've got a lot going on project-wise, like publishing and podcasting and this that you're watching right now sort of stuff. So I just wanted to catch y'all up because, if you follow my website, my author website at all, the release schedule's gotten totally jacked up because life, life has been happening. I've been having to work Saturdays some and work more hours in general at my day job, which, I refer to as my side hustle. The job that pays my bills is my side hustle. This is my real job, being an author. Um, one day, one day I'll make enough money at it to actually not need a side hustle. But as for right now, side hustle it is. But so I was waiting to figure out the schedule until I knew what the Autodidactica situation was going to be, because we had to take a really long hiatus because Matt had stuff going on, which I talked about in an earlier vlog. Um, so last night we recorded a new episode finally. It's been I think March is the last time an episode went up, and I've been sitting on the last one we recorded because I didn't want to start putting them up again until I knew what our schedule's going to be. And so one of the things we're changing is we're going to do it monthly instead of bi-weekly, which is what we were doing, or trying to do. Just because doing it on a weeknight was hard on me in particular, because I had to get up early and go to work. And we don't want to do every other weekend devote to, because weekends are when you catch up on all the things you want to do, and that's one of the things I want to do. But there's fun stuff to do. There's non-work stuff to prioritize on a Saturday and Sunday if you can. So we're gonna do one Friday night a month. And it went really well. It was really, really fun getting back into Autodidactica, our podcast. The topic of that one was, should all drugs be legal? That's what we talked about, whether or not all drugs should be legal. So that's a good one. And the one that I've been sitting on will go up in October. And that one was, do dreams have meaning? And that was another really fun one. So that's back on track. So I'm trying to get all of my projects back on track. I just dropped Molly's cover art for a new short story called Metronome's Deathmatch on my author fan page on Facebook, on my personal page on Facebook, and on my author website. So here's something fun. I can actually show y'all the original now that it's out there. I've been sitting on this for a couple of weeks too. That's Molly's untitled, there aren't titles in my name all over it. That's the raw art right there, and it's gorgeous as always. The last Metronomes project I worked with a different artist on, it was a spin-off to the main series. I feel like the short stories are like little epilogues, or prologues, to the main novel. But the Demons of the Blood, while it's all one narrative really, but it's in an anthology series that I'm going to do. If a short story runs long, it becomes a Metronome's Adventures novel or novella, and I'll put it out in a hardback and have it illustrated. And Molly wasn't available to do the illustrations, so I thought the spin-off series is a good place to showcase other artists that are trying to get their career going and such, or try working with some other illustrators and just make some more creative connections. But Molly has right of first refusal on anything Metronomes, and the main series I won't do without her as long as she is a possibility. That's why Aradia's Wand hasn't come out, the sequel to the main book, because in all these years it's just been hard to line up our schedules, and Molly is definitely doing that one. But this is her return to Metronomes after having to pass on the Demons of the Blood. And it's a short story, if I haven't mentioned that. It'll be an ebook original on Amazon. So look for that. November 6th is when that one comes out. And I don't have like a screen recorder software. It's so easy to set up. I just haven't done it. So I'm just going to move the camera up onto my computer and go through like all the projects that I've got that I'm getting out of limbo and getting moving and how that's going. Okay, so here's the page that I have for the new Metronome short story, Deathmatch. There's not much on it. I just put the cover art on it and the logo. I'll put the synopsis up when that's ready to go. And you can see where it takes place on the timeline. These little buttons are already here. The previous episode, well, if it works, there we go, takes you to Worse Than a Gremlin, another short story. And the next episode takes you to The Shaman's Apprentice, the main novel in the series, because it takes place just before The Shaman's Apprentice. Let's look at the release schedule. So I put all the video stuff up there, like the vlog. The one I'm shooting now, vlog number 47, that goes up October 2nd. If you go to the release schedule page at my author site, which is GlennSladeClarkJr.com. Gosh, that guy's arrogant. What a narcissist. Anyway, let's go back to the release schedule. So if you want to look at where all the everything I've got going is actually being released, you can come to the release schedule page. And I'm putting the videos up here on the schedule that I have for them so that I will hopefully stick to that schedule, because sometimes it's hard. I'm not going to go over every video that's on here, but there are a lot. And it's, you know, I go through March. I try to keep it 5 months out. You can look on here to 5 months out. And that's everything that's coming out through March. And then at the bottom, click for additional future releases. And down here, there's an archive of releases back to 1999. So if you want to go and look and see when stuff came out, you can. But here for additional, well, I'll get to that. All right, so what's coming up now? So the Chronicles of Nightfire Texas is going out of print in its current form rather quickly. So if you want those old versions, go snatch them up right this minute, if they're even still there. Nothing much is going to change. They're being re-released because it was a serial novel, a 15-chapter serial novel that wasn't finished. It's an ongoing story. It's kind of like a TV series is sort of how it's mapped out, how I write it. I write it like a TV show, like a primetime soap opera. You know, I think of it as Norman Lear meets Dracula, which is a movie I would definitely pay to see. But it's being re-released in serial form as a Kindle Vella ebook series, and the print editions are going to come out as pocket paperbacks this time around. Kind of like that's how I'm going to uniformly do serial novels moving forward, is they'll be in standard pocket paperback format, which already happened with The Legends of Nod, the Mech Valley debacle, and I like the look of it. It's cool. So those pocket paperbacks will only be available through my author website via lulu.com, I think. And the Kindle Vella series will be obviously available only through Amazon. But that's what's going on with those. And once we get to the concluding chapter of an arc, they'll be re-released in hardback, trade paperback, collected pocket paperback as well. Again, so they're only going out of print for a little while, and nothing's really changing between the editions except for a little bit of polishing. There's some stuff where I felt like I needed to clarify my position on the racism in the story, because the story is set in the 1970s in a small Texas town. There are racist characters, and they're there for a reason, but this being a continuing series, I don't really address all of that in arc 1 or arc 2 of the story. It's kind of it's a building thing, but I mean, if it tells you anything, the third arc is going to be called White Devils. So the racism is going to be addressed, but I just feel like there's some stuff that's I felt like came across kind of I could have made it more clear that, say, Sam, one of the core characters who's black, his position on racism is weird. It's supposed to be weird, but I don't think I made it clear at all that it was supposed to be weird, that he's kind of ignorant about racism, and he's black in the 1970s in Texas. So I'm going to kind of put a few new lines in there, not much, just to make things a little bit more clear. But yeah, those will be coming out regularly, monthly, and there's 15 chapters, and then hopefully, and they'll be coming out through December of next year, and then hopefully January of 2025, chapter 16 will come out and start a whole new arc. And then when the final arc in the third, or the final chapter in the third arc is published, that same month the collection will come out. And yeah, so Autodidactica is back on track. We're going to start doing, it'll be, I think, the second Thursday of the month is when the podcast will drop. The following week, the YouTube video will drop. And yeah, it's going to go like that. We're not going to put them out on the same day anymore. Right. Ooh, yeah, I'm going to finish up the plan I had for the Let Me Tell You a Story videos, which no one watches. Those are my least watched videos, but I'm going to finish the ones I set out to do. I think there's four more episodes of that YouTube series. And Metronome's Deathmatch will be coming out November 6th. I am finally, I promise, going to get the trade paperback of The Legends of Nod Book 5, A Hero Before His Time, out on November 21st. So those of you who've been waiting, 2 years? No. Yeah, 2 years. And some months for the trade paperback, because the hardback is, in my opinion, obscenely expensive. The ebook is affordable. The ebook I like the price on. Hardback, I wish it were cheaper. Moving forward, I'm looking at options to have cheaper hardbacks. It's just, being an indie publisher, it's difficult to get price breaks. So things come out more expensive than I would like sometimes, but I've been around long enough that I can find some ways to do things, and I'm looking at options on hardbacks because I really do like for the books to come out initially in hardback because I prefer that format myself when I'm buying books. We've got Dario Young and the French Fried Werewolf from Hell is tentatively coming out on December 4th, and I love this story. It is so weird. If you've read Dario Young and the GPS from Hell, you know this guy. Uh, it's more of the same, but maybe crazier. Um, Waiting on cover art, you can see Molly's concept art here. She wanted to tweak that a little, and it's going to be because she's in so many bends. We're going to be right up against the deadline when Oktoberfest and all of that is over, and trying to get this cover art done in time for a December 4th release. So it'll have to be, days before, at least like a week before it comes out. I have to have it all formatted and ready. So if we don't make this deadline, it might come out later in the month, or it might get pushed to 2024 at some point. I'm not sure, but I'm leaving it December 4th being optimistic and leaving it on December 4th for now. The Composer, December 5th, that's a novel waiting on cover art. Molly's not doing the cover art for this one. If I have the cover art in time, that novel comes out December 5th. And I'll talk about that novel more as we get closer to the release. It's very different from anything I've ever written. Probably one of my favorite novels. Let's see. And you can see there, December 12th, if you want to skip the re-serialization of the Chronicles of Nightfire, Texas, the first arc is going to be collected again on December 12th, which is a day after the last chapter in that arc drops to Kindle Vella. Let's see. And, I missed something, didn't I? No, I didn't. Okay, January 2nd. Whoops. We've got Innamorato a Morte, another novel that I'm waiting on cover art for. This is a fun one. It's about a haunting that works like an STD in the late 1800s, like the 1890s. It's a lot of fun. It's creepy, and it made me laugh a lot. The characters cracked me up in this one. Again, more on that when we get closer to the release. Just waiting on cover art. Any of these with no cover art, that's definitely a tentative release, because a cover art delay can delay the whole project. We've got the Theomorph, which was going to come out this year, but I really wanted a Metronome story to come out this year, and so instead of pushing the Dark, or not the Dark, that's what it used to be called, the Dark Gnome. Now I'm calling a completely different Metronome story the Dark Gnome. Deathmatch. I really wanted Deathmatch to come out and not push it to next year, so I went ahead and pushed the Theomorph to February instead of that one. And this is a story, it's kind of like if you've read some others of my short story, like Breath or Aries Cage, or it's one of those kind of just standalone little morality tales. It's about a boy who has the power to turn into a god. It's weird, but it's not part of a series or anything. And you can see the cover art's ready to go. That one will not be late. I'm just going to do another draft on it, I think. Polish it up a little bit before it comes out. What's next? Okay, The Thing in the Attic. I had really wanted this one to come out this year. Because this is the first in a series that I absolutely love, and I can't wait for y'all to start reading it. But there's too much going on, and we're waiting on cover art still, and I didn't want to release like 3 novels in the same month or something like that. I want the release is to have a little bit of breathing room. So I had wanted to release this series in March annually anyway, so went ahead and pushed this one to March. It features as protagonists the little boy from Nightlight as a teenager. So it's a sequel to Nightlight 2. You could call this Nightlight 2.5, but you don't have to have read the Nightlight stories. This is its own series, but if you have read the Nightlight stories, you'll probably get a lot more out of it. There are a lot of little Nightfire universe connections in here. But it's about him and his brother Jasper and Dario Young. This is Dario Young in a novel, is Luke's best friend, which you might have gleaned if you read Dario Young in the GPS from Hell, or another short story called Mommy Doesn't See Me. All three of them are in those stories. But this is about, they become paranormal investigators on YouTube. And that's pretty much it for the next 5 months, but there are things like, if you look at additional future releases, these are just years and they're alphabetical. Obviously, I'm going to continue releasing the rest of the Chronicles of Nightfire Texas as Kindle Vella editions. 2024, we've got the Legends of Nod Book 6, Jordan Galen. My idiotic camp short story, The Tragedy of Dandy Smoldy Pants. I pushed the print edition. I wanted to come out in October because that's when the video went up where it was read aloud. This one has been around since 2016, but never in print. So we're going to put it in print. I even did a YouTube video, one of my Let Me Tell You a Story videos, where I read this story. But it was read before that in a vlog. So it doesn't really fit my brand per se, but it's a fun, silly, idiotic little story that I wrote at summer camp. 2025. Now, I'm pushing Nightlight 3, Love and Darkness, all the way down to 2026, which I hate. But the reason is because, as I said, the thing in the attic is Nightlight 2.5. It takes place between Nightlight 2 and 3. And so do the next two books in that series that I have here and here. And Nightlight 3, which is written, and I love Nightlight 3. It's my favorite in the series so far. But it spoils the first 3 Anderson Brothers paranormal investigation novels. So I want it to come out after book 3 in that series. And as that series has been pushed off, or delayed is the better word. I know words, I can speak sometimes. Nightlight 3 keeps getting delayed as well. But it's ready to go. And 2 years pretty much, because we're almost through 2023, and you're going to be getting new chapters in the story through the Anderson Brothers novels every year. So it's not like there's going to be a drought for years and years before you get Nightlight 3. Nightlight 3 is kind of a culmination. So it'll be better. And again, you won't have to read the Anderson Brothers novels to understand Nightlight 3. They feed off of each other, but they're not required reading for each other. I try to keep my interconnected universes as kind of just bonuses. If you read it all, you get more out of it, but you don't have to do homework in order to just read one series. You can just read one series, and you won't be lost if I do it right. And we've got, as I mentioned, I'm hoping for the third Nightfire Texas arc to come out in 2025. And then Release Your TBA, Nod 7, 8, Metronomes, Radius Wand. I've got other stuff planned, but these are the things that have been kind of officially promised. But I'm not far enough along on the projects to say when they're going to come out. Radia's Wand, the sequel to Metronomes, The Shaman's Apprentice. Like I said, that's me and Molly and I, to be grammatically correct and prove that I'm a writer, have to get our schedules to line up in order to make that one come out soonest, but I'm shooting for the next couple of years on that one. I would love it if it came out 2025, 2026 at the latest. That's kind of my goal. And Nod 7 and 8, just, it depends on how fast I get them written. But it'll be next year or 2025 almost for sure. But right now they're TBA because I haven't even written word one on these manuscripts. So let's see, what else did I want to show y'all on here? Absolutely nothing. That'll do. But right, if you want to follow my writing and keep up with things as they come out, my author website is glensladeclarkjr.com. Oh, no, I did want to show you something else because I've vamped up the realms section. Okay, the realms, and this is what they were called originally, then I changed it to interconnected universes. We're back to realms with a new logo up here. They all have new logos, and there are 4 of them. These are the worlds that I revisit in my writing. And you can see, like, I'm going to really expand this section of the website next year with all kinds of extras for people who read these stories. There's going to be character spotlights, additional timelines. Right now, all of them, if you click on the realm, you get a story chronology, which basically shows you the order that the published chronicle takes place. The most has happened in the Nightfire realm, so that's a long one. Let's go back. In the Metronomes realm here, it shows you everything that's come out in the order that everything takes place. So some things you'll see on the timelines twice. Like here, there's an illustration in the book that is set centuries earlier. So anything like flashbacks and such will be on the timeline where it takes place, but you'll see the cover to the same book because the main story takes place here. And we've got the Realm of Nod, which shows you the order. I mean, it's not hard to keep up with the order of these books because they're numbered. But what I'm going to do, one of the things I'm going to do is, this is a story chronology, just a basic publications timeline. I'm also going to do a key events timeline that will be this timeline, but with other things interspersed between the books and before and after the books, like when characters were born, when key events took place, and even have little bullet points under the titles for key events that happen in the books. That'll be the spoilers timeline. And you can look at one or the other or both. And I'm going to have like lexicons for like if there's words and such that only exist in these realities, stuff you can look up, just extras. It's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to getting the realms section to be what I always wanted it to be. And then we've got, the newest of the realms is the unexpected realm, and that's where an unexpected snow and in wine lies the truth take place. Some other stories I've written may take place in this world as well, but I'm waiting for the characters to make that official, and that hasn't happened yet. It's up to them, really. I don't force that kind of thing. But speaking of organic connections, right now there are 4 realms. Soon there will be 3, because 2 of these realms are going to be merging. I won't spoil the surprise, but 2 of these worlds actually are the same world. And the characters surprised me with that, and it made sense, and I went with it. So look forward to that reveal. And that's pretty much it with the website. And here are some of the people who helped me with my writing and keep me on task. Here are some recent acquisitions to my massive Masters of the Universe collection. And those are my books. Except for Metronomes, because I have it down. I was looking stuff up in it. So that's pretty much it. That's what I'm up to right now. I've just been really busy with creative projects, and that's the way I like it. My chair is turning on its own. I don't know where we're going, but oh, we're turning the other way now. I'm just gonna hold this desk so that I don't get lost. It's creaky too. My chair's creaky. Anyway, so I guess I'm gonna call it a vlog, because that was a lot of stuff. That was just it's not as slice of lifey as my usual vlogs, but this is what I do. So this is a very big part of my life and my story, my writing, and the worlds I really live in, which are my fiction worlds. I'm just visiting up here. I'm just saying, hey, what's up, y'all? I'm gonna go back to Nod pretty soon. Or actually, I'm working on oh, I'm turning again. I'm working on a werewolf novel right now. It's a novel, so I'm kind of every other day I'm doing writing and leapfrogging with business end kind of stuff on projects is kind of what I'm trying to do, like editing and formatting one day, and then the next day I'm working on a manuscript, and I'm just plugged into a world and fully existing there. So this one is my longest ever on-again, off-again project. It's a sequel to Cry Wolf, Shadow of the Werewolf, which was my first novel. And I'm so near the end. So I'm determined to finish this one by the end of the year and have that out next year as well. But that's what I'm working on. That's everything creative I'm working on pretty much. So yeah, we'll call it a vlog. And I'll talk to y'all next time.